Cool. Welcome back, everyone, to the aftermath of last week's 6-hour-long fight. It felt like. Not many updates from me. Blog is still going. But we might as well just get straight on with it. I miss Chris. I want him back. Soon. Anyway, so previously, you followed a lead on the Orc warchief known as Prutha, which Thrungi had a bit of a historic rivalry, to put it lightly, with, and decided to head into the Bleakfen Steppes to track them down. You didn't know the Bleakfen Steppes, so you headed to the gates of the city, hoping someone would be around that would offer you at least a passing knowledge of the rather wild lands beyond Kisdumans. And you ran into a rather unique guild member by the name of Jean de Arquebus, who knew of at least a direction for what you were looking for. You casted Windwalk via Rambear and made quick time across the landscape, where you then came across the fort that Jean had noticed previously. Abandoned, but familiar design to orcs of the region. There you were attacked by a small group of fire panthers that had made the encampment their home, but swiftly dispatched by Nyah, Thrungi, and Jean with his sniping. At which point, Balthazar and Rambear, who had still been flying high, noticed black smoke plumes on the horizon, taking that as at least a significant sign. You headed towards them and swiftly came across the fort of the Embermore clan, the group of orcs that Prutha was chief of. Brief kind of recce around it as Clouds realised that it had been devastated by some sort of conflagration. I can never say that. It's a good word, but I can't say it. From what you don't know. You found a place to hide, planned your entrance, deciding on stealthy over brash, and somehow, through luck, skill, magic, and a self-sacrificing horse, managed to avoid detection as you climbed over the walls. I should stress, Electo is fine. He didn't die, and he's also made of magic, so even if he did, he would have come back. But people are scared about him. He's not a goat that you randomly bought. Sorry. Making your way through the city, you eventually came close to the central plaza. Thrungi and Nyah approached on their own, while Rambear, Balthazar, and Jean stayed back, ready to lend aid if necessary. Thrungi had said his intention was to challenge Prutha to solo mortal combat. However, the rage and anger of years proved too much for him, and on sight of the orc, he initiated combat. No words were spoken. Battle ensued. A brutal encounter with waves of orcs coming to challenge you ended in victory as Thrungi wrenched the beating heart of Prutha out of his chest before coldly beheading the orc. And this is where we will pick up, as you stand in the centre of the plaza, hot ash slowly drifting to the ground. The few fires that were out lingering as the sound of dozens of orcs flee out into the steppes. What would you like to do?
Thrungi picks up the head, or goes and finds the head, depending on.
Do you still have the heart in your hand, or did you crush that? I can't remember.
No, I don't think I can crush.
So you're still holding it?
Yeah.
Okay. The head is not that far away. It was a relatively clean cut, as far as a great axe can be done with one hand. It bounced away. It got quite close to one of the lava pits, and you can see like the black hair is starting to like cook and burn off as like it's in the edge. but you kind of stride over, pick it up.
Who's got a bag?
I've got one, I think. I can't remember if we decided we were taking Faendal's bag with us.
I don't
Well, I've
believe you
definitely
did.
got
I believe he
bag
kept
of
his
holding
bag of
with me.
holding.
I've definitely got my one then.
Because we probably need this.
There you are.
Give it a second. No. No. And she's frozen. Oh, no.
Oh, she's not frozen anymore.
She's back. What we've learned is Discord and Emma's laptop do not mix.
No.
They really don't. I'm trying to assume here. I think Rambear is holding the bag of colding, aren't they?
So I'll
Yeah.
go for the bag of cold in if that's an option.
Does anyone need any healing after all that? How squished up are people?
Thrungi looks like he's been through the ringer, but he's still standing.
What do we think we should rest?
Okay, I'm standing.
You're
I
standing.
think rest might be good. We should probably maybe secure the area. I mean, I don't think they're gonna come back after this. I don't think
Sean
anyone.
walks up at that moment. Niles goes, I'll make sure that none of them are coming back, and you take a rest. I am perfectly okay. Then he goes back to his sniping spot and just starts pot-shotting orcs as they're fleeing the camp because he's got insane range and accuracy.
That was a very good French accent.
I was quite impressed. I've listened to Hugh enough. It won't last.
No. Accents never do they?
No. Thrungi, what are you doing with the heart?
Oh, he eventually throws it in a lava pool.
Okay.
And then goes back and picks up the axe.
Very well. You grab the axe. As you do, it's still hot to the touch, like it's been sitting in a fire or a furnace. And that heat suddenly kind of ignites, like spontaneously combusts on your hands. And it cascades up your arms and begins to seep into your flesh. You feel like fire through your veins. The fireguard wraps that you have on your wrists begin to glow intensely, kind of trying to counteract this, and you can feel their magic imbuing you with this and their fire resistance, and they grow brighter and brighter, going from dull red to orange to yellow to bright white. You kind of have to glance your eyes back before eventually the fire on your arms and on the straps subsides. The wraps on your arms feel warm to the touch, more than they have before. And Balthazar, since you're relatively close, offering to heal him, you notice that every so often the veins on like Thrungi's arms and on his neck occasionally seem to like flicker and catch like firelight. Bryn, your straps no longer need you to be raging to give you fire resistance.
Cool.
And also increase your hit point maximum by 20.
Are you going to update the thing?
Yeah, for now, just put on your character sheet that you have fire resistance in your resistances, and I'll sort it out later.
I mean, it's already there technically anyway, just in defences from the straps.
Yeah, it's probably because I can't set a trigger on the magic item to be rage.
Yeah,
but,
nothing twigs off rage.
but you now know that you don't have to be raging, you are permanently resistant to fire.
And
Provided you are attuned to the straps. That just
Oh yeah, obviously.
They are
and-
almost, just as you look, they are almost kind of fused to your skin at this point. Like, you could remove them, it might hurt a bit if you wanted to, but they're like set in and part of you now. The axe was the other element there. So you pick up this large great axe that Prutha was using to great effect against you, and it is still stained with your blood. Its blade appears to be. Make me an intelligence check at advantage because it is metalwork.
1 and a 7 for 7.
7. It's not steel, this metal. It is something else. But it has black wood haft wrapped in some sort of leather. It seems to be red stained leather, but it wasn't red originally. You would guess it's some sort of lizard-like creature, maybe a wyvern or something like that. But that red bloodwork kind of is woven into the metalwork as well. And you now have this axe. You don't know what it does, but it is big and tasty. Bryn, you have the axe. What would the rest of you like to do?
And on his body. Also very, very poorly. A poorly little bear.
Balthazar, do you want to do the healing you offered first?
Yeah, go for it. How squishy are people?
Actually, I was given a health potion.
I can use spells rather than use consuming potions.
I don't know how much healing that did. I'm assuming not a lot. I'm still quite squished.
Yeah. Nyah, do you want any healing, or are you just going to use your lay on hands?
I can wait until we have a rest.
Okay.
I used a lot of my thing, and I'm still fine. So then I wasn't right. So
19 points of healing for Rambear,
Thank you.
and let's do. What's that? 36 for Thrungi.
Nearly doubles my HP, over doubles my HP now. I got this extra 20 from the thing. I was on 11 hit points and then gained 20 from the thing.
Not too shabby.
Cool.
I now have a maximum of 217.
That's ridiculous. Actually,
I don't care if you hit me.
if you got down to 11 in that fight,
Oh yeah, and that was raging as
Didn't hurt.
well.
yeah.
That fight was... Look, Thrungi does his job well. He is a damage sponge.
There's literally the only thing he can do well. He can hit things hard and just stoke damage. That's Thrungi's thing.
Rambear, you head over to Vent. That's a good point. You have Prutha's head. The face mask that he had was not on his head at that point. It had come off during the combat, which just bear that in mind. But you can go over to Vent's body. It doesn't take too much effort to take him down. It's badly scarred, bearing a lot of wounds, and the cloak is pretty burnt up.
I'm gonna drag his carcass back to the group and ask what should we do with Van?
should we bury him?
Stick him in a lava
Think
pool.
about it.
How long do we think he's been dead?
Roll me a medicine check.
Do we want to steal any of his stuff?
Yeah.
Where's his hand?
There is not a lot on him other than clothes, but you know he did carry things.
So not,
But
not a lot
I
of
suggest we
either.
spend like a good couple of hours just going through the camp, going through the main tent, searching and seeing what's here.
Orcs don't generally
21.
have lots of stuff, do they?
21. You put it somewhere in the region of 1 to 2 days.
Guys, we could bury him. We could set him on fire. We could feed him to the shark. Or we could bring him back as something else.
Okay.
What spell is that again?
Does reincarnate. Which I think Gethin might have forgotten that I have.
No, I know you haven't.
Yeah, no, I have it. Okay, good.
It's weird that it's a druid only spell, isn't it?
No, multiple classes can
I
take
think
it.
so,
You
but-
just can't take level 5 spells yet.
No, I definitely knew that. No, yeah, it's a druid only spell. According to Roll20. Yeah.
It's sort of
Can
a
we go
messed up.
about doing that?
So I just need to check what I actually would need for
So it
this.
is. You would need rare oils and unguents worth at least 1,000 gold pieces, which you do not have.
No, but we have 10. We have each
You
days.
have, yeah, 8 days. During that, the spell would create a new body, which Vent's soul would then enter. Assuming you can complete the resurrection ritual.
It's an hour.
I'm talking about the resurrection ritual rules we use. Which we've
What
never
about
had
the-
to use because Balthazar always succeeds on Revivify.
I can
Ooh.
help. Rambear cast it, can't I? I don't remember how the...
there are elements to it that you can help with and everything. It's up to you.
Could we
I will say,
Alright.
at that point, Jean does come back, and the accent is going to disappear at this point, but we're going to try.
Oh.
If you don't mind, that man has a bounty in my homeland. I wouldn't mind collecting on it.
What kind of bounty?
What do you know of this man?
He's a flashy dresser. He really hates Archibald the Fourth. And
Archibald the
oh, yeah,
Fourth,
he's
the Third, to be
Fourth
clear.
the Third.
But
We don't
This is
know much, but we know he is a friend, so if you could tell us what you know.
well, what I know is that he's not the kind of man you wish to be friends with.
I don't know much about you. Maybe you're not the sort of guy we want to be friends with, Jean.
That could entirely be true, but when I tell you he's not the man you wish to be friends with, let me inform you that this man has murdered many people in his life. In rather barbaric ways, if I may say so myself.
All glance to Thrungi.
Why did he kill people? He was looking for knowledge and books when we saw him.
I do not know, but he is a wanted criminal in Yaqui, and the bounty on his head is not insignificant. You say he wanted knowledge. Do you know what knowledge he was seeking?
About
He,
his
he
disappearance.
wanted to, break some sort of curse and. Look, we know he wasn't a saint. He left us to go kill people.
Look, I do not mean to slander your friend. It seems there is money to collect, and it would make sense to collect it, no?
Yeah, I mean, we knew him a week, so
Felt like longer.
it felt like longer. But also, we only need a bit of him for the spell.
Yeah, we'll take a. We'll take
Officially,
a
it is a piece of dead humanoid, yes.
Yeah.
Or we just
Keep
take the
going.
mask with his face on.
I think the face is the most useful part for identifying a body. No,
Would you like face and we keep the body?
We can have the face. We can bury the body, or feed some of the body to the shark. Keep a finger.
Okay, that's a good idea.
That's
Yep.
what Vent would have wanted.
Okay.
Does that
seems
sound
like a
good, John?
fair deal to me. Yes.
What is his bounty, out of interest?
The last I knew, it was for 1,500 gold.
Is there a out of interest bounty on Nyah?
Not that I know about. I left Yarqui a few months ago. What would you have a bounty on your head for?
Being pretty, obviously.
Uh-huh.
No, but
many-
I'd expect to at least be a valued enemy of
State.
Yahweh.
Interesting.
I think they
Do
discussed.
you have a bounty, John?
Did you not tell me that you was it you assaulted Lord Birchmark?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
Yes, that
John-
makes sense. There is probably a bounty out on you as well, although I imagine not for death, like the tiefling here. Probably just a little recompense or fines or maybe a little jail time. But that's not important. If anything, he had it coming. The absolute bastard.
I think it's canonical that he slapped him in the balls.
Probably.
I think I didn't write it down, but I think that happened last session. Interesting.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to go and collect some of my crossbow bolts back. There's a few orcs with them. Are you going to be resting here? And I'll meet you before we leave?
Sure.
Excellent. And he wanders off with Vent's head in his bag.
He found his face.
Yeah, that's what he has in his bag.
Oh, good.
Oh wait, because Vent's head was hollow.
Yep, he literally has a faceplate, which Prutha was then using as a mask.
Yeah, I was imagining it was literally a layer of skin that he'd like skinned off Vent. But
Same.
I guess he has no back of his skull, so it's just his whole head.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
creepy.
Prutha was fucked up, guys.
Oh, I mean, this is much better than I think what myself and Stephen were both Balthazar. Myself and Stephen were both imagining, which is literally just a horrible stretched skin mask,
Yeah.
flesh mask on orc face.
More like a hockey mask kind of deal.
Dude, that's just creepy. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about Vent now. This isn't how I pictured him.
Thrungi is going to go into the big tent,
Mm-hmm.
and see what's in there. Have a look.
Roll me an
yeah.
investigation check.
We help him.
Someone can go with him, yeah, sure.
We can all go.
I think it makes sense to use as like a camping spot if we're
Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 19 before I got the help, and then I rolled a 2. So 19.
So two.
Unhelped.
Unhelpful. Rambear lumbers in and distracts you for a
Walks
second.
into Thrungi.
Blocks some of the light in the room. Can't quite see. 19. A lot of what you find in here, you find a rather well put together, if barbaric, throne made of some sort of animal bones, like a rib cage formed around. There's a few briars in here, still burning away low on embers. Some kind of well burnt and worn through rugs of dwarven design, clearly kind of raided. With a 19, we also kind of go around the room. There's a few chests in here, tables with stuff on as well. You find an ever-smoking bottle, and another potion of healing. And with that, you also find one stone that looks to have a bunch of runes on it. You can roll me Arcana if you wish. The fact that these are dwarvish runes is allowing you to roll Arcana.
$16.
16. Okay. You know this is a Thunderstone, a piece of dwarven runic engineering. That is basically, it's a stone about the size of a golf ball, if you want a bit of context, that you can throw at someone, at a space or something, and if it strikes a surface hard enough, it'll make a deafening kind of bang sound, and creatures within range will have to make basically, each creature within 10-foot radius of the point that you throw it at will have to make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw, or take 1d4 thunder damage and be deafened for 1 round. Something special, but something that dwarves occasionally have made use of in grenade-like situations.
It's a one-use thing, isn't it?
Yes. It then breaks.
No money, no gold, nothing.
Not really. It doesn't look like these orcs were interested in that. They much more stole useful things to them, or just the trophies of particular showmanship or barbarous nature. That's the way I want. There are other tents. This clearly was Prutha's tent, but there are other places in the encampment that you could take a look around with if you wish. If you're curious else in here, there's also war paint, which seems to be made of ash and water kind of mixed together. Kind of random bits of meat and food, but nothing in the nook.
I think it might make sense for us to try and find that wizard's, that sorcerer tent.
Yep.
And probably search his body as well, just in case.
What time of day is it?
Sometime in the afternoon at this point.
Okay.
Not
Around
long
one.
into the afternoon, about 1 o'clock, yeah.
Fly here.
Pardon
But
me?
we won't. I was just about to say we left early morning.
Yeah.
And but we won't be able to fly back because I think the spell's over now.
Yeah.
Wow. Even if it wasn't, Rambear did drop to 0 hit points. I'd say that sort of spell would probably not.
Yeah.
No, that would be a homebrew rule, but I would say that if the character passes out, maybe not.
In this instance, yeah, that would have happened. I know it's not a concentration spell, but
Feels right.
feels right, yeah.
Plenty of time to just run around searching bodies and stuff. Can I go back out and search the shaman's body then?
Sure, roll investigation. The DCs are all quite low for these because you are taking your time, you're not in a rush.
Natural 20.
Don't need it. On him, you find not a lot. You find his staff, which you probably don't want. You find a potion of healing that he never had chance to use. You also find a thick banded ring. Looks to be gold ring set with a pink gemstone in the center of it that when you pick it up kind of has that faint tingle of being magical. Again, these are all things that you can look at during a long rest at any point. And on him, he has a little bundle of what looks like kind of moss, plant matter, a bit of animal fat or gristle in here. Roll me a... Yeah, let's call it medicine.
It's a natural 1 for
Natural 1.
9.
You have no idea what this is. It seems to be some sort of concoction.
Yeah.
You'll have to get a more intelligent person to look at it. But you have one of those.
Cool.
Write it down as a ball of herbs and plant matter. Ask me about it
Is
later.
that like a thing on D&D Beyond?
It is. I have it. You just don't know what it is.
Somebody who
Oh, okay.
Surprise.
Gotcha.
Should mean they're good at plants and herbs and stuff. Be able to identify it.
Maybe.
They're not very intelligent.
Yeah, but you haven't. But Balthazar hasn't shown you it yet.
No, that's true.
Don't know.
Balthazar won't.
Well,
Eat it as soon as I see it.
yeah, I might be worried about that. I don't know. What are we doing? Are we?
I mean,
I'll show it to
Rambear
someone
licked
when we
the
actually
fucking
end up
crystals
resting.
of the bugs in the library. Let's. Yeah. Sorry, Stephen, you were saying.
I'll show it to someone when we actually do a long rest, rather than doing it now.
Do we want a short rest in the tent? It's been scouted out.
Two.
Yeah.
Do you want to head anywhere else first, or do you want to take the short rest first?
I was going to say, can I have a look at... Is there another tent that looks fairly better than the
It
others?
doesn't look better. It bears shamanistic tokens around it that would clearly have been the sorcerer's tent.
Then I'm going to go and have a look in there.
Roll investigation.
19.
19. You find 2 more of those balls that Balthazar's found. You also find a +1 heavy crossbow.
Oh, I'm taking that.
And again, more various bits that would be used in shaman stuff. Components for spells and the like. You wouldn't really understand what any of them are.
That's fine. No, but that's fine. It was just trying to find what.
Yep.
Good.
Jean returns at that point. He's done his own little bit of investigation. And he comes back with a bunch of arrows that have like wickedly barbed points on them. These might be useful if... I mean, I would keep them. I could probably turn them into crossbow bolts somehow. But do any of you make use of the bows?
Can do, but I don't even think I have one.
I don't believe any of us do.
Ah, very well. I will. If you do not mind, I will keep these for myself. They seem quite useful.
Good for it.
That's
What are you doing now?
I think we were going to have the short rest now.
Cool. During a short rest, you can identify 1 item each. And take any hit dice and get whatever you want.
I don't have any hit dice to use.
Who, if anyone, is identifying objects?
I'll identify that banded ring.
That banded ring, sure. Anyone else want to try and identify anything? You're identifying the axe. Is anyone mentioning that they found these balls of herbs and plant life and gristle?
I'll mention it, see what Rambear has to say.
So at that point, then I'll show the other 2 that I've got and pass them to Balthazar.
They're all going to Rambear.
Rambear can hold all 3 in their palm quite easily. Okay.
Don't eat it.
During the downtime, Balthazar, you have a ring of thunder resistance. Again, it looks dwarven in design. It was probably stolen when they were in Karak Grungron and kept. You have that. Bryn, you've already identified the Thunderstones. I'll come back to you. Rambear. These things are somewhat familiar to you. You didn't necessarily pay attention to it too much when you were in Druid Circle, but these are very much kind of druidic concoctions. What these are berserker concoctions. They are balls of powdered psychedelic mushrooms, invigorating herbs, and animal gristle, rolled into a ball that can be instantly crushed between teeth to be absorbed quickly into the body. Druids often make them to empower their berserker warriors whenever they need it. Not exactly a large thing for the Camberthile Hills Coral Tree Druids to do. It's not really their bag, but the knowledge is there. To explain what they do, when consumed as an action, for the next minute, your strength, dex, and constitution scores are increased by 2, as are their maximum. Conversely, your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores are all decreased by 2. When the effect fades, you gain 1 point of exhaustion.
What are these on? Have you got them on D&D Beyond?
Yeah, I'll put the name of them in chat.
How long do they last for again?
1 minute.
1 minute.
And you
get
have
rounds.
3 of them.
Point of exhaustion after 1 minute. That's...
Also, you will know, while technically, by the wording of it, you could eat 3 of these and bump your stats by 6 and -6, it obeys the rules of all kind of potions. If you consume them and have multiple effects at once, you will be suffering from toxic syndromes.
You should totally get 3 points of exhaustion if you take 3.
Yeah.
But only get 1 bonus.
But yeah,
It
you
just
have those.
lasts times as long.
Finally, Bryn, this beautiful axe of yours. It is Blood Gorger. You have a +2 bonus to hit and damage rolls with this weapon. In addition, a creature that took damage from this weapon suffers an additional 1d6 necrotic damage at the start of its turn. And on a critical hit, you regain a number of hit points equal to half the amount of damage you dealt. Which was why I was really annoyed that he wasn't critting Bryn.
Fucking terrifying.
That would be terrifying.
No, but it's fucking terrifying on Thrungi. Because I could get, like... I can roll 50 damage.
Obviously, you can't go above your maximum and that.
If he wasn't immortal enough.
Just bear in mind, I am maybe toying with changing that to you gain temporary hit points equal to half the damage dealt rather than regain hit points. Largely the same effect, but it stops it stacking essentially. So I may change that by the time you use it, but I will obviously communicate it with you if I do.
Oof.
But you now have a +2 weapon that you haven't had for a long time, and it's got some nice bonuses.
What are you attuned to at the moment?
Currently, I am attuned to the Giant Craft Ambusher, current axe, the Fireguard straps, and the tattoo. So I'll obviously come off the axe and go on to the new axe.
Yeah, switch them out.
Does mean the Animus Hook, we might have a problem later. Cross that bridge.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it might be worth it.
But it will drastically cut down the amount of damage it does. Yeah, from D12s to D4s is the shift you're talking about there.
But also, I think Nyah should have it. Over Thrungi for the special effects. Just been looking at it and studying it. But I think Nyah has a much better charisma score. Much being an extra.
Do have good charisma. Do I use it for good things? No. It's there. I couldn't be nice and charming if I wanted to.
But yeah, with that, with the sickle, it's a melee attack at disadvantage when you try and do this under attack attunement, and when you hit, you make a contested charisma check. Which I think Nyah would get a bonus on as well from her aura.
No,
Was
that's
that-
saving throws.
No, that's saves only.
The difference is that you'll be attacking at disadvantage while Thrungi will be attacking with a straight roll.
Yeah.
Something we need to think about.
I'm worried about that because obviously he's a vampire. He's probably going to be very charismatic. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he's just boring.
He only
Oh,
has
that's-
to roll one once.
Once?
Okay. How many orbs? 1 2 times.
Like Sarah's initial thing was like, he's a vampire. Obviously, he's charismatic. We've met him. He is charismatic.
He is
He's as
charismatic.
charismatic as Nyah is. In the same way to us.
Charismatic for evil. Has everybody rolled dice?
It does.
I get 1 key point
Yeah.
back. That's all it's worth.
Gotta use your key points, man.
I know. I wasn't up close and fighting though.
Use
That
key
whole-
points to get up close.
I could. Or I could just blast them with infinite spells.
Use them to
Use them as
dodge.
cantrips. So,
Okay. The archers were more shooting at Jean, to be fair. And even then,
Mm.
did fuck all.
even then I can use my reaction to just deflect missiles without using a key point.
Kind of way. Anyway. You guys finish short rest. Jean is taking it with you. During this short rest, Jean just kind of leans back, lights up a cigarette on just one of the braziers that's in the camp, in the tent even. You said you did not know me. I suppose this is as good an opportunity as ever to learn about each other, no? We are all members of the guild in some capacity, so how did what brought you into the guild?
We all came into the guild together, didn't we?
It was a long time
Wow.
ago. This was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I think this is also pre my notes document. I think
Yeah, I think this is when
I
Chris was
genuinely
taking
don't-
notes.
don't have any notes on this, so I don't remember.
I will give you a brief rundown so you can reply in kind. This was when you saved a town from a bunch of dragons, or dragon attack, raided their camp, saved a member of the guild from that camp, who then basically gave you a letter of recommendation to join the guild. And then you were in the guild.
That was like our first session ever.
First couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Our first session. Last time we did any pre-written stuff.
Yeah, I'm never doing that again.
I just remember running around a camp with like some sort of explosive we were going to set off as a distraction and then trying to
It
climb
worked.
a cliff to get away.
Yeah,
That was smarter.
that's right.
I remember I stole cultist robes and I still have them in case we infiltrated the cave.
That is useful. You never know when you need to lie. But
Yeah.
you lot always seem to engage in the chaotic.
You could say that. How about you, John? How did you come to be in the guild?
Well, my story is less fun, shall we say. I'm sure you heard about the a few months back, maybe half a year now. Yarqui was invaded by hordes of undead. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
We remember that.
I was stationed as part of the Yarqui military in the northern part of the country along the border with Vandis. Let's just say I have since learned to bear a grudge against the undead. And take great pleasure in putting them down whenever I can. But the failings of the Yarqui officership, all those entitled nobles who claim military titles with no bearing on themselves. Let's just say I had no desire to go back and work for them again. So I took my skills and thought I would at least get paid well for using them. And the guild has a reputation for that sort of thing.
Well, at least in the guild, you can certainly kill a lot more undead and put them back where they belong.
That is true, although the missions they've had me go after, and I haven't exactly had the opportunity. Maybe soon. Maybe, hopefully, some sort of necromancer or generic evil dude will turn up with a horde of undead, and I will get to shoot them.
You never know. You just keep wishing. I have a feeling that might come true.
Roll me deception now.
That's not deception.
Well, it's not really persuasion either.
It's neither.
Fine.
Keep just saying.
Straight, make a straight charisma check. I don't have Jean's character sheet, but I know his wisdom is quite low, so.
It's 21.
21. He has no idea what you're suggesting. Well, if you come across them, you let me know, yes? And I'll bring the crossbow.
Yes. I mean, just keep an eye out for the guild. The guild is sure to bring us all if a horde of undead appears.
That is probably true, yes. Nah. Well, are we ready to go? Are we staying here till sundown?
No, I think we can go. Everyone ready?
Are we doing the cloud thing again? I've been trying to turn and it has not worked.
Oh, you haven't been doing the noise. You really have to do the noise. Like, that's a really important part.
Can I do a fart sound in a French accent?
Le. You just say le before it.
Yeah, you just add le at the start.
Le.
Don't tell Kate that.
It did not seem to work.
No, I'm just joking. It's done.
You funny bear.
I'm the Joker.
Yeah.
No, I think we're gonna have to hoof it, or maybe go by eagle. We want to go by eagle. It's been a while.
Eagle?
Well, to the rest of the group, do you want to go by eagle?
We could do.
Pretty sure I'm
Yeah.
way to return.
I always prefer when I can stay in my own form.
Okay, yeah, you do wear nice clothes. I guess it makes sense.
Style.
I don't pay this much for dresses and armor to just be a poof of clouds.
You do, however, pay a lot of money for dresses and armor, and then immediately they get like caught on fire or something, covered in like dust and sand.
Speaking of which, your dress is quite covered in ash, and it's not ruined. It's just dirty.
Dirty and bloody.
All of you are
Faendal's not
dirty.
here to do like the laundry, the instant laundry for me.
You have no prestidigitation at the minute.
No.
John walks up and goes, let them me, and he just starts like trying to pat the dust off your dress. Like, I apologize, I am no wizard.
No, that was helpful. Thank you.
I assume just
Deception.
throughout the resting times, I'm just mending bits that can be mended while we're just hanging out.
Of what in particular?
Of everything, just in
random-
general, just no
random
junk.
bits.
Just bits here and there.
Repairing this encampment from. Oh, I tell you what.
Not the encampment, our stuff, just like in
yes.
general over time.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We haven't
Just like, as
actually
it
done
gets
what we
messed
need
up,
to do.
I'll just repair our own armor and stuff.
We haven't actually done what we need to do with Ven, which is to dismember him and
Yeah.
I think
Bury him.
it was a very. You want to bury him? Yeah?
I think it's the right thing to do, right?
Does anyone have a
Probably.
shovel?
No. You don't have a shovel.
I
am a
mean,
bear.
burying or fire, either one seems like the respectful thing to do.
I think he'd like fire.
Shoving him in a lava pit would be fairly good.
Yeah, that's a
So-
pretty cool way to go.
Hmm.
Can we find a lava pit that's still warm?
A lot of them have started cool. Like a lot of them have kind of formed over the crust at this point, but you could probably break through that crust and get to a little bit of lava underneath. They weren't like permanent holes to the fire plane, and the person who
No.
created them is dead.
Yeah, I don't have any lava hole spells.
It's a good
We
spell
can-
idea. I'll note it down.
Thank you. Should we do this together? Just like all standing around a pit, one limb each. Like dunk him in. Who wants to remove a toe or a finger?
You're the one that can cast the spell.
I don't really want to. I don't really want to do that. It seems kind of icky.
Thrungi just walks over with his new axe and just takes the hand off.
Oh god, that's a lot more than I wanted. I chuck it in the bag of coaling with the variety of like meaty, fleshy things that we've collected, which are surely like half of them are probably off. Definitely have some sort of sack from a dragon. What was it in there?
Something.
It's going in. Sorry, then. Should we dunk him?
Yeah, dunk him in some lava.
You pick up the headless body of Bentley. It's probably light. And take over. Thrungi takes the haft of his new axe and just kind of like cracks open the lava pit. The hell has happened to Emma's screen?
Nothing here.
Yeah, they'll sort itself out. That's weird. Yes, crack it open. A wave of heat comes out to hit you, and you lower Vent's body down into it, and it immediately kind of catches fire. The cloak kind of apparently was made of polystyrene. Polystyrene?
Polyester.
Polyester, thank you. And just and his body begins to cook.
Does it smell good?
No, not really.
Worried about that.
It smells a little bit of burnt toast, like it's burnt on burnt.
But
Cool.
are we all having a stroke?
Roll a medicine check.
Would anybody like to say any words? So that's a no.
No.
Right. Ta-ta for now, Ben.
So you begin to leave the encampment. How are you? You have exited the walls. This place will stand for someone to reclaim it at one point. Who that is, when that will be, you don't appear to care. How are you travelling?
Eagle.
My
Eagle.
eagle.
Polymorph or summoning?
Oh, I'll summon.
Can you summon enough for us all?
I can summon. I can actually. Well, I will also turn into an eagle.
Or yeah, you're gonna need. Just think, because you're all quite heavy. Jean's got a lot of equipment. You're all really
How many
dense.
eagles can I summon?
We technically need 5, don't we? 1 each.
So you need 4, because
Wait,
Rambear
seven.
can turn into 1.
Yeah.
So you need to summon 3.
Oh.
There's 4 of you who
Oh,
can't fly.
Yeah.
I can summon 4 eagles,
I-
okay? I've
Okay?
got a 5th level
If
spell slot
Rambear
that I'll
has turned
burn.
into an eagle, that,
Yeah.
that deals with 1, so you need 3.
What
I can
about
summon
Jean?
enough.
There's 5 of you in the group.
Yeah.
One of you turns into an eagle carrying another person.
Oh, okay, carrying someone. Okay, that's what I was missing.
Yes.
So, Rambear
I can see
stands.
some.
What does summoning eagles look like, Emma?
always ask me this, and I genuinely never know. In my head, they just sort of like fly from really far away, like come into view. But I guess because the spell's range is only like 60 foot or something, actually what happens is that they just start off really, really small, but 60 foot away. It looks like they're flying closer, but what's actually happening is they're getting bigger, and bigger,
I love it.
and bigger. And I think that's just how all my animals arrive.
I love it. I think it works perfectly.
Yeah.
They come from the direction of the sun and kind of backlit by that as they approach, eventually touching down large forms, like digging into the earth. Jean looks at you and goes, "That is impressive. I've never met someone of your talents."
And then Rambear is gonna hard shape, which I have described before. I don't remember what it looked like.
It can change anytime you want.
Wasn't it like the Sailor Moon kind of like?
Yes, it was. Yes.
It was like a full on like, or something like that.
10 minutes later.
Yeah, there was definitely.
What spell are the eagles from? Summon beast?
They're conjure animals at 5th level. So we can have a spare eagle, but I'm just gonna. It is a concentration.
That's fine. You can concentrate one on your wild shape. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. You have an hour. The Sailor Moon effect takes 10 minutes. No, I'm joking.
We can.
You all mount up. If you wish to be carried underneath, you can be. Or you can ride on the back. It's entirely your choice. And you begin to travel. Eagles are quick. They're not quite as quick as Mistform. I do believe. Anyway, Mistform's about 300 feet of movement speed. And the giant eagle is...
Not
60.
quite.
80 foot fly speed.
They're fairly
About
fast.
half as fast.
But an hour of flying, we'll say, get you to around the region where the first fort was. You deliberately don't settle there, but you're in that vicinity. You choose to stay up high on the cliff such you've got a view down into that gully. After an hour, it is still the middle of the afternoon. It is up to you what you wish to do.
How many more hours would it take us to travel back?
Still quite a few.
Do we know if
Like
there's
an
any?
eagle once more?
Even with eagles, you're not going to be back before nightfall.
I see.
I was going to say, is there a restriction about getting into the village or town at nightfall? Like, would they close the gates or something?
They will close the gates at sundown. Whether
Yeah.
Entry would still potentially be possible, you don't exactly know. But it's not like the city is shut to outsiders come nightfall. It's just the gates are naturally shut because
Yeah.
they're not expecting merchant caravans past sundown, essentially.
I'm good to keep traveling, but do you guys?
I'm happy to if we want to.
I'm still an eagle.
Can we just keep going? Can Rambear? If you can keep going, nod your head.
Rambear's just gonna do a little loop-de-loop.
So at this
I think
point-
that's a yes.
All of you are on foot while Rambear kind of stays above, acting as Eagle Scout.
Oh yeah.
Nyah is on Electo, let's be obvious about this.
Oh. I assumed that Nyah was on Electo while she was on the eagle.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
back to
it's that.
mounting on things, are we?
She's
Um,
like,
Very well. You continue travelling. Rambear, since you're up high, roll me a d10, please.
Why?
You're in the wilderness.
It's a 2.
A 2.
No 2.
We get ambushed by orcs and everyone dies.
Rocks fall, everyone dies. From where you are, you spot in the direction that everyone is heading. You have a really high view on this. You spot a trio of large shapes, large humanoid shapes. You would guess they're giants of some kind, heading in the direct. You essentially, your party and them are heading towards each other. Your party has not noticed them.
Far away.
Still a few hundred feet, but if neither of you diverts course, you will end up interacting with each other.
We did have a really good time when we fought giants a while ago. Up there is one of our one of my favorite fights because we really went all out. But maybe not today. Yeah, Rambear's gonna like scooch down. I don't know what order people are walking in.
It's pretty
Rambear's
open
gonna, like...
at this point. There's not exactly one line.
Yeah, Rambear's gonna like swoop down to the floor, and yeah, maybe it's time to leave my eagle form. To communicate might help. Oh, but it might help not to. Rambear's gonna try and communicate something to them. Interpretive bird dance. Like
Can you understand?
ting,
Roll,
and then like
roll me performance at disadvantage.
what would performance be?
Charisma.
I'm doing it as eagle. Charisma. Oh, eagle has a +1 to their charisma. Fun fact. It's an 8. No, it's a 10.
Nyah, roll me insight.
Oh no. That was a 19.
She's trying to tell you something. No idea what.
Okay. That probably took a bit too... yeah, okay. Boop! Rambear's back. Say the moon on... Say the mooning. Yeah, there's some big people ahead. I don't know if we want... Maybe we do want to fight, but I don't think we do. Is there another... Did I see another route we could take?
You could essentially, like, skirt round. Just taking a wide berth, essentially.
I think we should go around the long way, maybe.
Okay. We can do that.
Okay, Thrungi?
Sure.
Do we
Okay,
need to
Balthazar?
be stealthy, or is going round like enough?
Ed,
It should be enough.
if you don't
But I
mind
did
me
waste a
asking,
lot.
in which direction are they?
Rambear's a little bit turned around now. They're a bear again. That one, right ahead of us.
Jordan kind of, like, peers out in that direction. I cannot see them yet, but as soon as they cross the horizon, I will, be able to shoot them if we wish to.
Giants are... I think they're pretty chill.
Yeah, it depends. If they're hungry, they are not chill.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Nyah when she's hungry.
I'd be more scared of the dwarf when he's hungry, if I am honest.
You wouldn't like the... Well, actually, for the most part, you wouldn't like the dwarf when he's sober, but he has been sober now for a long time.
A sober dwarf. Interesting.
Doesn't happen often.
No. This is the first time we've ever seen him sober, actually.
Seen me sober plenty of times. I just normally drink alcohol daily.
Got that tolerance, y'all.
Not since you got the tankard. I think then every conversation has been there's been some sipping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe we can leave them be. I'm a little bit bummed out about Ben. There's been, enough bloodshed.
You divert course. You've continued walking. Sun is setting at this point. You are still maybe half a day from Karak Grungron. You're thinking it might be worth setting up camp. We're trying to find somewhere to set up camp. You continue to look around between Thrungi and Jean's basic knowledge of this area, and Rambear's innate druidic sense. You find a kind of rocky outcropping, which you can kind of get a campfire built in that the wind isn't going to immediately snuff out, and begin to settle down for a rest. Jean offers to take first watch, so you can all get a decent night's sleep. For the sake of brevity, it goes past relatively uneventful. Jean informs you the next morning. I think I did see these giants go past on the horizon, or at least some tall, large creatures, but I felt best not to, interfere with them. Only to cause trouble while you all are sleeping, yes?
Aye.
Well, on to the city then?
Onward.
Do we continue on foot, or are we doing the fart clouds again?
I'm so glad that I've said fart clouds so often that, I don't think Gethin can remember the name of the actual spell.
It's Windwalk.
Okay.
What do you take me for?
Well, the earlier you called it like misty something.
You turn into mist.
Yeah. I'm feeling I don't know. Would you guys like to walk and explore? Do we have any tussling we want to do, or do you want to get back and back on with our actual quest?
Probably get that.
Nyah wants her sword fixed, doesn't she? Right.
Priorities, people. So,
You guys ready? I'm an adult, I swear.
I don't think I will ever get used to these.
We have them.
You are all clouds, and you spend like an hour and a half tops, getting back to Karak Grungron, such that it's early to mid-morning at the point the walls of the city crest into view. To be clear, where are you landing? Are you winding into the city, or landing outside and entering via the gates?
Thrungi will have landed outside the gates.
I assume you will follow suit. You all come down and begin to approach the outskirts of the city. And I think there's a good time to take a break. We'll pick back up as you enter back into the city of Grungron, and go about asking for a conversation with the Thane. But we'll pick back up in a second. See you soon. Anyway, welcome back. Let's pick straight back up. So you are standing outside the gates of Karak Grungron, having just finished a couple of hours of wind walk to get there. There is no merchant caravan queue at this early in the morning, and 4 of the guards in the black and bronze are standing outside the gate.
Thrungi, did you say we've transformed back?
Yes.
Thrungi's going to start walking over towards them.
Hail!
Morning.
Morning. Returning from the steppes, are you?
Time.
Are you the same Oathsworn who arrived in the city 2 days ago?
That I would be.
Very well. I take it you all understand the laws of the city. Keep to the outer city unless permission is granted, and don't be general assholes. Any particular business you have need of us?
No.
Well, they were never really blockading your way, so kind of imperceptibly allow you to shuffle in. And you enter into kind of that large courtyard space just beyond the gate where you can spot a few merchant caravans here starting to get loaded up, oxen getting tied onto the front and yoked up. Jean at this point just goes up there. Well, it has been a pleasure, they might say. I think I have a long journey ahead of me to go claim on this bounty. I don't suppose, he turns to you, Rambear, I don't suppose you could help me out on that. I suppose I can still turn into mist, correct? And I could at least get a head start.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, you have to make the noise.
Excellent. I shall. Well, I hope to see all of you again. Maybe in the if we see each other in the Citadel, we will have a drink or a smoke if you partake. I bid you adieu, and may you find what you are looking for here.
Thank you. If you ever need us, we're the goats of Rash.
I shall remember that. And he walks off, and you just hear in the distance and a cloud with a green bandana scoots off over the walls and heads rapidly southwest.
Are we going to go and find,
Yeah, probably
not the
head
Thane,
back.
but somebody?
Oh, probably head back to the
Story
place
pit.
we spoke, the fire pit.
Goals.
Oh, you're going to the fire pit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Scowl.
Wow, I've completely blanked.
I've written scold several times in my
Scold
notes, but I don't-
is who Breakin Sternfall is. He's the Scold of the
Oh,
city.
that's his name.
Notes, because my memory is fallible.
Can you hold that up, please?
Right, give me this.
Oh my god.
That's not just Goats of Wrath, right?
It's mostly Goats of Wrath. There is a small amount of the other group in here, which is about 3 or 4 things. There's also a lot of monster stat blocks printed out on back. But a lot of these are your are your session notes.
We're responsible for global warming, guys. So
So
many
you're-
trees.
you're- Yeah. Look, I need them on paper to edit. The Scald's half.
Delta half.
And he is hold, Scald, Breakin, Sternfall. You head over there. The fire is burning as ever. Sternfall is not there yet. You logically assume he will turn up here eventually, as it's kind of his responsibility. There's a couple of teenage dwarves who have been tasked with keeping the fire lit, who are, as you approach, speaking to each other in Dwarven quite rapidly back and forth. Thrungi is the only person who understands Dwarven. You realise it's kind of like a poetry off, essentially, where they're just they're essentially having a rap battle, but in Dwarvish and not with a beatbox. But it's you know it would be it's a practice method of Scalds to it's essentially repeating stories and having them back to you and being able to tell a story while hearing another one to be able to. It's like cyclical storytelling, essentially.
Thrungi just takes a seat. He just goes, I'm just going to wait. I haven't got anything else to do at the moment.
Balthazar. At that moment, as Thrungi says that, imperceptibly between heartbeats, you suddenly feel the world get very distant from you. Like that weird dream, nightmare-like sequence where you feel in it, but like 100 meters away from it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
A compulsion pulls at you that is both sickening and intoxicating at the same time. Cold yet powerful. An encompassing embrace of quiet nothing. Seek a path. Realize your ambition.
Just hearing that in my head, aren't I? I'll try for now. I'll try and put it out of my head and just try and refocus back on the fire.
You try to focus in on the fire, and it begins to darken at the edges. The cycle must end. Suddenly, your attention is on the fire, focusing, and then you can't help but blink. And you're suddenly standing on a rocky shore. Strong winds and waves crash against the shoreline. Deep cave disappearing into the darkness underneath the cliff. Dark blue water crashing against the rocks within it. Find it. Bring it.
I don't recognize that voice, do I?
You do not.
Oh.
Roll me an insight check.
27.
It carries a weight to it that is a greater magnitude than you can possibly comprehend.
Right.
That the being behind that voice is powerful and timeless.
I think in reply, bring it where?
To the others. Break the wheel.
Not what I want to be doing, handing another one over to Xenos.
Do you think that rather than say it, essentially?
Yeah.
It's internalized rather than externalized thought.
Yep.
You get a response to that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Make them your own.
That would take a lot of effort.
I
I know we haven't discussed Thrungi's like sickle thing, have we?
I think at this point,
like-
I don't believe, Bryn, correct me if you feel this would have gone differently, Thrungi has mentioned its properties to anyone else.
Not in character, no.
Fair enough.
So I don't know that there's any way to get them for myself.
Roll me Arcana with advantage.
Death will get.
18 plus
18 plus
1, so
Plus-
19.
19.
Plus 1. It's not wisdom, it's intelligence.
These spheres aren't well understood, but you seem to have you have an innate connection with them. In theory, it is possible to claim them as your own against a weaker-willed being.
Ah, shit.
So,
Can you do that with just general attunement?
No.
No.
In game terms, it would be like a contested will check of some kind.
Yeah.
To essentially pull it off someone. You have a feeling that only those who are set on the path to acquiring these could accomplish that. The fact that you have had intimate interaction with them has put you on that path. As you're thinking all these things, you are suddenly pulled deeper into the cave. The rock walls rushing past you. A hidden thing, your mind falling into the darkness of this cave. There is no light. When sudden excruciating pain pierces your mind, your brain ridden with spikes of agony, you let out a shout and collapse to your knees, clutching your head as you're suddenly back in the real world. The rest of you spin round to Balthazar, having screamed out in pain, clutching his head as he is on his knees.
Balthazar, are you okay?
I just had a vision.
Well, they always end well for everyone who has.
It was of some cliffs and a cave.
Do you think it might be connected to the orb?
Probably. I think it was showing me where the last one is.
Have you had these before?
I mean, we've discussed them before. We've had the same
Yeah.
visions as Faendal and stuff, like nightmares and things.
Anything else to go on other than a cliff and a cave?
Not that I could see. We've discussed the general location. We know it might be in the Shattered Teeth before, I think.
Hmm.
So I think it's like definitely pointing us towards that area of the world.
If you're getting these visions with the location, do you think Xanadus also gets them? Because he must be connected to the orbs as well.
Hadn't thought of that. Probably is. If not stronger, because he's got more of them. I don't have any of them. I'm just...
You know, definitely a
Touch
race to see who gets that first.
yeah. But he hasn't... No, Xanadus hasn't gone to get them before. Well,
You still feel him in the
he
south.
steals them off us.
That's true. Can you still feel his presence in the south, or the other orb's presence?
That's the thing, can I?
Roll perception.
For 20.
Seems to be. It's odd. Something about it is different.
Okay.
Like it's there. it's only half there. Not in that you feel
Right.
less spheres there, just the generic influence of them appears to be somewhat half there, half not.
Okay. It's weak, but I can still feel them. Yeah.
Well, the sooner we finish up here, the sooner we go back. Maybe Faendal also got a vision, if you're getting them. And we can...
Maybe. Hopefully we can make sense of it when we get back.
That.
Just remembering.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, I was just remembering our spa day and how it was so great. And this has brought me back to how awful it was to lose that orb.
That scream by Balthazar did cut short the two young bards' practice routine. And after a short while of kind of having this discussion in private, Breakin, the relatively old dwarf, with his complexly braided black beard, shuffles in with a cane, fairly thick, like octangular like one, kind of enters into the space, takes a look around, notices that you're really the only people here, approaches the young dwarves first and just has a conversation with them. You don't quite pick up what is said before he begins to make direct way towards you.
While he was doing that, Thrungi would have probably turned to Rambear and gone, "Can I have the bag?"
Rambear passes Thrungi the shark bag.
The other bag.
Rambear passes the bag of calding. Looks a little bit disappointed. Thrungi doesn't want to say hi to the shark.
When was the last time you said hello to Sharklet?
Read the shark bedtime stories.
It's canon.
Where's Thrungi? It's been about. Where's Rambear? It's been about half an hour. Yeah, she's with the shark. It's bedtime.
Yeah, it's really tucking the shark in.
Doesn't happen
That
very
sounds
often.
like a
I feel
euphemism.
don't sleep. Aww.
Didn't like that.
Canon.
What Tritons use as a euphemism. Tucking the shark in. Breaking approaches. Hail! I do not know whether... Oh, the French accent stuck around. I don't know if you've returned... You left and come back, or...
Thrungi just reaches into the bag of calding and just pulls out the head.
He takes a kind of reflexive step back, and there is a flash of confused, grossed out nature to his face. Well, I assume then that you found the end to the story you left unfinished.
Aye. Orcs are split off, but they don't have a leader anymore. Should be easier for any rangers to mop up.
Aye, that'll be music to the Thane's ears. What is music to my ears, however, is the full story. So please, while I'm sure it is a tale for larger crowds than this, I would appreciate knowing the story.
Thrungi tells the tale of them heading off, turning to wind. Doesn't do the fart noise, probably much to Rambear's annoyance.
You would have turned into wind if you had, so it's probably
That's a
good you
good point,
didn't.
it's silly hours.
talks about the initial battle at the ruined fort, with the knowledge of moving onwards. Talks about the battle, how instead of trying to fight him alone this time, like he did last time, it was more of a team effort, which is probably what won the fight.
Aye. Well, there is much strength in a personal arm. The strength of one's fellows at your back certainly makes any dwarf stronger for it.
Aye.
Tell me, Thrungi, has this brought you any modicum of solace or comfort?
Some.
Well, as the rune priest said, path to redemption is not a short one, but it appears you have at least stepped upon it. Now, what do you... I assume, as I would be flattered, that you did not come here to regale me of the story. You indulge a older dwarf. What do you seek?
We would seek to know where we could help next. We came here for a purpose, one we can't currently fulfill due to reasons outside our control. And yours, obviously. But we are excellent fighters.
Did you have something in mind? I don't particularly have anything I could suggest right now.
You yourself do not, but we were hoping that with the threat removed from outside and the proof of our competence, we might be able to help get the forge back.
You have already conducted one great service to this city, whether it be for selfish or honourable means. And you seek to perform another.
Wouldn't I?
You are more than the hair and the oath, my friend. It would seem. The Forge is, as you well know, sacred ground to dwarves, and your party is too tall to fit that requirement.
Aye, but they could open a path.
If what the tales you have all told me of your exploits are true, that would probably be accurate. But that is not my decision to make.
Of course, and we understand that. But we felt you were the best person to put a word in.
I think that is quite intelligent of you.
I know, I don't get it very often. It hurt.
Well, everyone has their bright moments. I can bend the ear of the Thane to providing you with an audience. And you can state your claim in front of his throne. Have you met Thane Harlson before? Did you cross paths with him in your previous years?
I rolled a natural 20 on a history check.
You know he was a very highly respected military officer. He was not posted down here. He was a different city. But it is of no surprise to you that he was the man in charge of retaking this city. He is not noble by any means. This is a man who went through and earned his ranks.
Was he originally from this city?
No.
That's right. I just thought I'd ask.
That's what you know. You've never met him in person. You know him by reputation.
I heard a bit of his reputation before. Well, before.
Well, that'll stand you in good stead. I will offer a few words of advice for meeting him. First of all, Thrungi, as much as a scout like myself respects your story and your path here, the Thane looks poorly upon oaths sworn. Dwarves are dwarves and command a level of respect for one another, but his view on those who have taken your oath is lesser. Just bear in mind. He's not a... Sorry, Karen?
Thrungi just slightly nods his head.
And I strongly recommend none of you interrupt him. Let him say his piece. You'll know when to reply. Well, no time like the present to address major pieces of information. Where can I or one of my messengers find you in the event I have good news?
I can't remember where we're staying, but
Stone Apple.
we're currently in the Stone Apple.
That makes sense. I believe that was where Nyah is operates out of during the day. So, well, I'll get a message to you. I can't promise it'll be today, but I'm hopeful you will have something. And he gets up and starts clacking away. He gives a few passing words to the young dwarves who are there, which you do pick up on, Thrungi. It's basically just a bit of advice to them about how to enunciate certain words properly such that they're heard over large distances. And then you hear those two dwarves start picking it up, and their voices are much clearer and can be heard kind of from even the edges of the amphitheatre. What would you like to do?
Good.
There's not much that we need to do in this city, is there?
No, is there anything... Well, Thrungi, would Thrungi like any, souvenirs? Not been here for a while? No, I might want to commission a dress. That's, her new hobby.
I actually need to buy some good Dwarven ale.
You do?
My therapist back at the guild.
That
Hello?
was one of my favourite NPCs I've ever invented on the fly, or had to play. I think Andrew gave him to me, but so fun.
Just more than earlier after, we should go back to the apple then. Should be able to buy a barrel there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You wind your way through the city, and the city's starting to waken up at this point. Guard patrols are starting to actually get active. Grocers are opening up, blacksmiths. Although you do notice there's I don't know. There's a decent number of blacksmiths out here. Less than you would expect from a dwarven city, though. Thrungi, you remember that, at least in the old version of the city, the blacksmith forges were within the inner city, and technically part of the Undercity, close to the Finnedale Forge. So usually there weren't many blacksmiths on the external city because all of the work was done interior, and then it was just like shop fronts, essentially. But there seems to be a few out here now with full-on furnaces and everything. You head back to the Stone Apple. Relatively quiet this time of morning. People who were having breakfast here have had it and left. So the bar area is relatively empty. Umnir is already sitting in his corner. And you have your rooms upstairs.
Okay. I will go to the bar to order the barrel. Wait, who has the bag of holding? Because I'll need to put it in there.
Got one.
Walk up to the bar.
Let's get them remember his Umnir voice.
Umnir's not the bartender. No, I don't. Umnir is the guild contact.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we have the name of the bartender. What is his
name? Garrick. Garrick's my advisor. Hello. How are we doing? You're a bit late for breakfast, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. I actually would like to buy a barrel of ale to take back with me.
Oh.
Is that possible?
I mean, yeah, sure. Don't usually sell one, but sure. Any particular brand or?
It's for a friend, and he just said the best and strongest dwarven ale that I could find, and I know this is the place to get good ale, so.
Well, I appreciate it. Give me a second. He like heads off. After a short while, comes back out like lugging a barrel. Sets it down on top of the counter. I'll be honest, I don't really know what to charge for it. I mean, I paid that. Call it a 15 gold, and it's all yours.
15.
15.
Yeah, I'll give you 30 for the inconvenience.
Well, I wish I had more humans here. Seem to tip well, apparently. Thank you. Anything else I can help you with this morning?
I think that's all for now. We'll be back for food later, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm assuming you're still wanting the rooms for another day.
Yes, please.
No worries. I'll note that down.
Thank you.
Okay. And he goes back off.
Yeah, thanks. Slide it into the bag of holding that Balthazar has. Like,
there's a bit of like.
Just hold it open at the end.
Yeah.
We've sort of become out of touch with the value of money. We
really have.
We used to argue so much about the cost of health potions, which I still do argue about it. They're outrageously expensive. But now it's just like, 15 gold, 30 gold, no difference.
I have so much money. I forgot that I won all you guys' money.
Yeah, health potions are a weird one. Like, health potions are like the defining point of how messed up the official D&D pricing system is. Because I think a health potion, if I remember correctly, the brewing of one takes a day by official rules, which A is insane. Which means it's a day of skilled labour, essentially, because you have to know how to make them. Which is 1 gold piece. So you could pay someone to make a healing potion for a gold piece and wait a day, or you could buy one for 50.
Or you could get a lot of people together and
get them to hand health potions to each other really quickly, and then yeet it.
yeah. Yes. I mean, you could just start. Yeah, maybe there's just a dude making bank. There's like an Elon Musk of D&D who's just got like people he's paying them a gold piece a day, and he's making 49 profit on their heads.
500% profit. 5,000% profit.
He can pay them less. If he can have indentured labour, have them working in piss poor conditions, and still make a lot of profit. Don't write it down. Don't want a villain. Don't want a villain like this.
Go the other way. You could double their pay
idea.
and have really loyal employees that literally can't leave because they couldn't afford to, and still pay them only 2 gold a day, and make 48 off it.
What I do not understand is how potion makers, ignoring magic people who sell magical weapons and stuff, because there is a lot of time that is spent doing that, so the cost kind of works there. But how potion makers do not end up breaking the economy.
In what way?
Because of a 50% upcharge compared to the call it a 25% upcharge. 25 times upcharge for a health potion. You assume it costs 2 gold to buy all the ingredients in a day and a gold piece for a day's labour. The profit they're making is 48 gold pieces. Which will break
if we're talking about breaking the economy, adventurers in general turning up from a dungeon with 6,000 gold pieces breaks the economy anyway.
Ignoring adventurers.
That's why they can charge 50 gold.
Yeah, but get in. Somebody lost 6,000 gold pieces in a dungeon.
Someone left it behind when they died, and therefore it became property of the state.
Yeah. Well, but they can't use it.
It's the age-old. At what point does grave robbing become archaeology debate?
Oh, it's just grave robbing is just like inheritance for somebody you don't necessarily know. No?
That's a bit wishy-washy, I think.
I'm gonna put some light on in here now.
Anyway, I'll decide whether I'll cut that conversation out or not.
Power.
So yes, you are sitting in the stone apple. Umnir has registered your presence, but doesn't seem like he's going to initiate conversation with you. He's very much a you come to him kind of guy if you need him. Emma's mirror really tripped me out there. I thought she was the others. That was weird. I was like, what is the arrangement of that flat? Jesus. Yeah, so you're just kind of hanging around the tavern space, eating some of your own rations. Anything in particular anyone wants to discuss? Or anything while you wait?
No, it was kind of shitty with Thrungi, I feel.
What?
I haven't read my notes for a bit, but I feel like Umnir was being kind of shitty to Thrungi.
I think most of the dwarves kind
in
of have.
general, a lot of dwarves treat him with a lot of trepidation and questionable morality. There's an element of fear to it, almost.
How do they know he's oath sworn?
His entire appearance.
Okay.
I mean, you actually wouldn't know this. You can ask Thungi.
Oh, yeah.
Why do they hate you, Thrungi? Yeah, that's good. Why?
If you knew from someone's appearance that they had, in their eyes, done something so bad that they had no honor, what would you do?
Probably avoid them like the plague.
I'd be suspicious, yeah.
There's your answer.
But how do they know that you're an Oathsworn?
How many dwarves have you ever met?
One.
Not that many, to be fair.
We were up north for a while, actually.
I mean,
We
none of them look like you, but then
And their reason.
so your entire appearance is due to you being an Oswan?
Could you just wear like normal dwarf clothes and nobody would have any idea?
Technically, but that is not the way.
Right.
So, if I went and bought a kilt, and I'd my Echo stop. Echo stop. It's listening to me. Sorry. Rambear, if I went and bought a skirt, and I kept my chest out, they think I was Oathsworn?
You need to be a dwarf for a start.
Interesting. You all look the same. You're all very bold where you shouldn't be bold.
I mean, in your eyes, that's everywhere.
I think Thrungi's the only one with facial hair. Yeah. So you're actually the most acceptable looking. Balthazar doesn't have facial hair.
No, I was thinking about Faendal.
I thought you were going to say not here.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't say anything.
So what are our next like moves now? We're waiting.
Yeah.
Basically.
Nice.
Wait for a reply. And then maybe go and fight some stuff.
Clearing out the forge, I guess. If we're allowed.
If we can convince them that we're allowed, yeah.
Narratively, it would be very annoying if we weren't allowed. Can I just nap? Is it nap time?
Are you tired, Rambear?
A little bit. Rambear's player is a little bit tired.
Does anyone want this ring of thunder resistance?
Oh my god. Could you use the ring of thunder resistance and the ring of spark you out and high five and it like cancels out?
I don't think it would cancel out.
I don't remember the.
Because it's lightning damage and thunder damage.
Ooh!
So you would create like a thunderstorm in your hand. Lightning and thunder.
Sounds pretty fun.
I'm guessing it's an attunement to get thunder resistance and lightning resistance.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Resistance to thunder damage while wearing it. I might go and sell it in the market since we have nothing else to do.
Maybe we can just sell some shit. I've got loads. Faendal gave me loads of stuff that he said he didn't want, and I'm sure he doesn't want it back, right? Probably.
I mean, one of the things he
Maybe.
gave you was to return it to your druid. Rude.
Excuse you. I actually don't keep. I don't pick up a lot of things. I think Thrungi's more of the looter after we have a little fight. No, Faendal is.
I
Are
don't
there any
have
books
much.
around?
Any books around? Not here. Not in
Oh no! After we have like any combat, Faendal's like, "What books are here? What are the titles? We're in a forest. Where are the books?"
So you wait. And you wait. And it takes a while. And then, shortly, late afternoon, you're definitely thinking like, okay, maybe it's not going to happen today kind of time. Maybe it'll come tomorrow. Breakin enters into the tavern. Using his cane to kind of knock open the door. He goes, young Karak. I believe the adventurers... Thank you, never mind. He walks over. May I take a seat?
Boss?
Leans down into a seat and very quickly Karak turns up with a tankard and just slides it in front of him. There is a level of dutiful respect to Breakin. Thank you, Master Brewer. I have good news. The Thane wishes to speak with you. At sundown. It appears he is intrigued by your claim of the one you killed. Although I chose best maybe not to bring up your offer to clear the way to the forge just yet. I felt for two reasons. One, I felt that the request of a party led by an Oathsworn and no other dwarves requesting to head towards the Finnedale Forge was bold, and I didn't wish to...
Colour his opinion so soon.
Yes. And secondly, I got the impression that if he deems you to be truthful, he will owe you a favour. He's an honourable man. He doesn't like to be in people's debts. That may prove useful to your requests. A few things. No offence looking at you, but I think only one of you has any practice with titled members of society. So I feel it important to go over the proper decorum. First of all, to mention, you are entering into the inner city, a place where no dwarf is allowed except by express permission of the Thane. Treat that with respect. Secondly, address him as Thane or Lord. Those are the correct titles. Remain standing unless asked to sit. Shouldn't be hard for adventuring types like yourselves to stay on your feet a little longer. A small bow on introduction to show reverence. Nothing grandeur, simple. And I will note, it is expected for anyone addressing the Thane or any member of dwarven nobility to be bearing a weapon of some kind. However, it is recommended this is a small weapon. It shows your proficiency with a blade, which garners you respect, but also not so aggressive that you showing a desire to cause harm in that instance. Is there anything else you wish to know about the Thane, about the Forge, about this city before your appointment?
Have any questions? Now's the time to ask.
We shouldn't need to know anything, because Thrungi was here before. Right?
Aye. But times change. Even for
True.
dwarves.
Oh, I do have a weapon. Good. Thought I just had my great club.
Very well. Since it is at my request, I will meet you at the gates to the inner city at sundown and lead you to the Thrane's room. Look presentable. And remember, you have a story to tell. He finishes his drink, stands back up, goes, I'll see you in a few hours, and heads off.
Are we able to keep the outfits that we got together in Vandus?
Oh, you've still got them, yeah. I think you said you'd taken them with you.
Probably did.
I don't remember how Thrungi wore his, but it was very funny.
Thrungi literally wore a white shirt with his current trousers and his boots. That was it.
Did you tear the sleeves off though?
No,
Definitely did.
he
No?
rolled the sleeves up.
Doesn't sound like Thrungi.
Literally all Thungi did was take off his shoulder pads and put on a white shirt and then walk into the dinner. That's literally all he did.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't have the notes on that.
I do, but it's just not gonna happen. They're too far back.
I have the notes on what equipment you took in with you.
It doesn't matter. We do have semi-formal attire. The important thing. Nyah has a variety of beautiful
Yeah,
gowns.
our selection.
That's true.
The whole wardrobe. We need one more bag of holding for that, I think.
It's got to have a coat rack in it. So, you get dressed. What is everyone wearing out of the options that you have?
What was our outfits again?
I think you wore some sort of fancy, like, cloak robe thing.
I've still got my green cloak. But I might just stay with the capelet thing.
I think I'll wear my the dark blue Wonder Woman one with my sword on the back.
Very nice. Just to be clear, the non-cursed one? Or the cursed one, considering you don't want to leave the cursed one behind based on the curse.
Can I fit two swords? Like, cross?
Well, Thrungi was going to suggest that we don't actually leave anything here and we put everything in a bag of holding.
Probably a good
Okay.
plan. Have we paid for the room?
We have.
Yeah.
But it just means on the off chance he decides he wants us to go and fight something straight away, we have all of our weapons
Yeah.
on us. Despite the fact that they're not on us.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Nyah was wearing a fashionable yet functional dress with the greaves beneath it. Thrungi was his own trousers and boots and a plain white shirt. Faendal
Doesn't matter.
put on the ugliest outdated suit that he had, or that was in the cupboard. Balthazar adorned a brown shirt with his green cloak on top. And Rambear had a dress over trousers. Thank you, Emma, for such good notes.
The only important things are our outfits. I don't know what happened in that session, but I do know that we looked good doing it.
Page 55, if you want it.
I actually found it just as you were saying it. Sorry, yeah, well that's exactly what Rambear will wear. That's the trousers.
Okay.
I'll put the shirt
I
on
think-
and then put the capelet over the top. And then, as always, my sword is coming over my shoulder. That seems basic.
So the weapons you've got are, you've got your sword, Stephen.
Mhm.
Nyah's got 2 swords. Bold strategy. Rambear has...
Rambear is going to pick up a butter knife from the pub.
Okay.
It's very small.
Yep. And Thrungi?
As much as he would like to have his new axe on him, he suspects that that's probably a bit big, all things considered.
You know Dwarvish decorum. You know that, yes, that would be grandiose.
Compensating.
So he'll put that in a bag of holding, along with a few other things, but he will keep his 2 hand axes kind of together in the sheath.
Sure.
He knows they say only bring 1 weapon, but at the same time, dual wielding axes is a common thing in dwarves, and they count kind of as a pair type thing. So
very well. As the sun begins to set behind the wall of the western wall of the city, you begin to trek up to the inner city, which does get a number of glances, and a few guards kind of start following you up. Not like chasing you down, but just keeping an eye on you. At the gates to the inner city, these large stone gates that are slightly ajar, that would be pretty flush with the mountain when shut, stands. Break in. Glad you made it in time. Come with me.
I probably should have said that Thungi has taken off. Oh no, Thungi hasn't changed actually. He's still wearing his normal attire. He hasn't put on the shirt.
So he's bare-chested, orange-haired. Everything.
Dragon skulls on his.
Okay.
No, he'll put them over the top of the white shirt.
Okay. They're epaulets.
I'm picturing this as like Thungi be like, should I wear a shirt? No, I shouldn't wear a shirt. Should I? No. Wait, what? And we'll just say like, he's never cared about clothes before. Like, what?
Make my notes complete. Nyah, what were you... Sarah, what's Nyah wearing again?
Dark blue dress with swords crisscrossed on the back.
Like little hand pats from where dust was cleared off of it. Cool. Thank you.
Break-in begins to lead you through. The inner city is interesting. It acts almost like a 3-dimensional city that you can see buildings like into, like, almost like honeycomb into the walls. There does appear to be some sort of laid out street down below. You get a look at most of the places here. A lot of the buildings here seem to be homesteads more than anything else. It's like the inner city was designed to be where the population lived, and the outer city was where they did business, considering it was a merchant town more than anything. You are led through the city on a very large causeway up towards the back wall of the inner city. A group of very well-dressed and armoured guards stand there, see Break-in approaching, and Break-in brings you up to the line. He goes, "We are here for counsel with the Thane. As per his request, he wishes to speak to the members of the guild who claim to have slain the sworn enemy of this city." You see a guard with a fairly ornate kind of metal crest down his helmet, that looks to be in the shape of a purple worm-like creature. Kind of comes up to Break-in. "We've been expecting you." A couple of them start flanking you and start leading you up. Eventually, you do come to a throne room, and it's fairly plain for a throne room. but the main attention-grabbing thing is in the center. Is a well-set but not outlandish stone throne, on which sits a dwarf of middling to older age. You can see his nose has been broken multiple times. Completely shaved head, very bushy eyebrows. In his chestnut brown beard are dozens of what look like medals or military tokens showing a lifetime of service. And you notice resting on the armchair, or on the arm of his throne, is a large twin-headed hammer that sits within easy arm's reach. Break-in takes you forward. The guards stay by the doorway. Thane Harlison, I bring at your request the members of the guild who claim to have slain the orc warchief known as Prutha. Thane kind of stands up from his throne. Square shoulders. He's got a similar body physique to Thrungi, not quite as muscled up. There's an element of age to it, diminishing things, but you can see this guy in his prime would have been able to go toe to toe with Thrungi. Sir, you're the four that claimed the grudge this city has bared for too long.
Rambear's gonna bow.
Balthazar will bow as well.
Thungi bends probably about 45 degrees before standing upright.
Respectful, at least. Come, let's have a discussion. He motions a couple, and a few stone stools are brought in for the four of you. Please, have a seat. I imagine we could be here some time. And he leans himself back down into his throne and kind of rests his hand on the pommel of his hammer. Been stroking his beard. So, if you don't mind me asking, what business does the guild have this far north?
Honestly, we are not here as part of the guild. We are members of the guild and do anything that they request, but currently we're here on our own business.
Huh. Guild now letting people operate without their sanction, then. Kind of goes against the remit of the guild.
It's part of an overarching quest, I suppose, that we're on, Thane.
You want to speak of quests? Looks like you failed a few in your time.
I failed one. That's all it took.
Apparently, the guild accepts failure from its members.
All due respect, Lord Thane, Lord. Everybody fails. Everybody fails sometimes. And Thrungi's saved us. He's saved so many people in all his time helping the guild. I think it's unfair to judge him by this one thing, how he perceives himself.
What do you know of this bear? To me, an Oathsworn is an ill omen. Parading one's lost honor like that is disappointing.
I don't know much about Dwarven culture, although it seems very rich and full of rocks. But I know Thrungi. I knew him as Thrungi before I know him as a Oathsworn. And I think that though he has reason to feel disappointed in himself, he took this oath more as because he's very tough on himself. I think other people who had dealt with what he's dealt with might not have gone down this path. I think it's a sign of his fortitude more than anything.
Roll me a persuasion check.
I'm not very persuasive. We have inspiration.
I do.
Do we have? Yes. Okay. Gonna try. Nat 20.
You speak highly of him. He earned your
He's our friend.
respect. That's something that many dwarves would have done. Thrungi, since that is your name, perhaps your story might earn you a modicum of respect of mine. By what route came you to taking upon that oath?
That throne where you currently sit.
You saying you once sat here?
No, I was sworn to it. As captain of the outer guard.
You were here when the city fell.
I fighting the orc whose head currently resides in my bag. You all but killed me. When I awoke, the city was aflame, dead. The last dwarf of the old hall.
And yet it stands once again.
Aye, and I am gladdened to see that, my lord.
Are you gladdened to see the one who took it?
I was happier to have his beaten heart in my hand for a moment. By the way, Thrungi and I assumed he meant the orc, not him.
What do you think of the one who reclaimed the city and let that orc wander free?
That he did something impressive. That he brought life back to where there was once ruin.
I hold little respect for those who have taken upon the oath. I find them unreliable when I need them to be. Yet your bear friend there seems to claim you are trustworthy to them. Adventurers such as yourselves coming on a personal mission to the north rarely brings with it well thought out intentions. You are, after all, vagabonds who consider yourselves beyond the law. Doesn't stand you in good stead here in my court. So, what proof do I have that you are honourable and reliable sorts? By what deeds would I have known you?
Well,
Is that any good ones?
the guild. We helped defend. What was the bridge called? I can't remember.
I
When
don't think you should say that. We lost the bridge.
No, but we stopped them from getting through. The bridge got destroyed, but we stopped them getting through.
It was Craith Keep.
The Battle for Crave Keep. But is that the last big thing we did? We did a lot of stuff in the desert, but we wouldn't know about that.
I will remind.
What was the dwarven hold name?
Oh
What
yeah, the
were
first thing we did.
The dwarven hold was Drasnek, something like that.
Sounds right. It's definitely not in my notes.
It's in mine. Erd Karan, hold of Erd Karan.
We have several. We successfully defended and rescued a guild member from a blue dragon and their cult in the early days of our group being together. After that, we went north and helped the Dwarven Kingdoms up there with a lost hold, a certain hammer who I gave back to a Thane of theirs of the royal clan.
You tell me you're the group who reclaimed the hold of Erd Karan.
That we are, my lord.
Did you believe the noble who hired you was worthy of such a seat?
It is not for me to be able to make that decision.
Accurate. But I didn't ask whether it was your decision, I asked about your opinion. As a soldier yourself.
I think he would have been worthy had he done most of the fighting himself. But that is of who I am.
How am I to trust those who would accept the coin of a noble to take a hold when I currently hold one myself and am not of noble blood? You come here to take my throne for another dwarven princeling with a title to his name.
He came here for but one purpose. Happily, we managed to do a second and take the head of the beast who I needed to kill.
So you keep saying, and yet I see no proof.
Would you like me to throw his head on the floor in front of you?
Proof is proof.
Thrungi reaches into the bag of Coldin and just bowling balls the head towards the feet.
He stops it with his foot as it rolls in. The skull which held the top knot still in place but heavily cracked through. And as he puts his foot on it, you notice that his boots are iron shod, essentially. And you just see him look down. And then there's a as the head of the orc is just crushed underneath the weight of a dwarven boot and just cracked inwards. It seems this city owes you a great debt. You end
Nothing.
its greatest grudge.
And mine.
What do you seek for this? Do you seek gold? Jules. A favour then.
In sorts. We... And at this point, he switches to Dwarvish.
First of all, as you
Yeah.
switch, roll me a persuasion check.
Natural 20 for 22.
Sometimes the dice. Very well. Carry on.
I was told by your Skald about, and your Rune Master, you Lords, I can't remember the term,
Rune priest.
Rune Priest term, and by your Rune Priest, that currently you do not have access to the Forge.
Roll an insight check. Actually, what's your passive insight? No, you wouldn't notice
11.
it. You wouldn't notice it. Straight away.
Insight. 18.
18. You and Balthazar, you notice it as well. There is a very slight tense twitch in the cheekbone muscles as he mentions the lack of access to the Finnedale Forge.
I don't know what he said. He's in Dwarvish,
No,
but
you just see
I noticed the twitch.
something that Thrungi said kind of set off something of frustration would be a good term. Carry on.
He left it as a question.
Sorry, can you repeat it for me?
He said, I believe, they mentioned how you have not yet been able to get access to the Forge.
I don't appreciate Rune Priest sharing such information with outsiders, but you are somewhat worthy of the honest truth as a surviving member of the Hold. Indeed, the lower city of Karak Grungron is beyond us still. I lost good men trying to reclaim it. What of it?
I would ask that you allow us to attempt to open up a path. And if we were successful, to allow us to request for a blade to be reforged.
You see him just kind of put both elbows on his armrests and just steeple underneath his chin. Stares you down. So, for my understanding, the favour you request is to do us another favour.
I'm aware that normally you wouldn't allow non-dwarves to get anywhere close to the forge.
That is accurate.
Hence my request.
Turns to one of his attendees. Bring me Tasnia. I wish to know what the gods have to say about this. He kind of straightens himself back up in the chair and goes back to leaning on his hammer. So, from my understanding, you propose that instead of putting the lives of hardy dwarven soldiers to eradicating the problem beneath the city, you four would enter into places that no non-dwarf has stepped in. Breaking steps off this point. As far as I know, decades, sire. Decades. It is a bold request.
My thinking was this. What do you have to lose?
You're a bold man yourself. No, bold.
gives you a look, Rambear, and then turns back to Thrungi. What I have to lose is the honor of the ancestors. Letting a human or a bear walk upon sacred dwarven ground. But you propose an interesting offer, and one I find it hard to refuse considering its nature. And I am somewhat oath sworn to give you one. At this point, Tasnir arrives. Ah, Rune Priest. Tell me. The Finnedale Forge is arguably the greatest purpose we have on reclaiming this city, and yet it remains out of our reach. To what bounds do the sacred dwarvish aura of the Finnedale Forge extend? Tasnir's response. As far as I'm aware, Thane, the edicts written down by the ancestors long ago pertain only to the Finnedale Forge itself. The outer forges and Smith's Forum are technically permissible by any races, be they friends of the dwarves. This is, of course, your city, Thane, and such permission is granted by you and you alone. I would say the nature of what has happened to the Undercity is quite unbeknownst to us, and I have my theories as to how it can be resolved, but there is no guarantee that I am correct. Well, that is something for you and these members of the guild to discuss. I may grant you this gift. You shall be permitted entry to the Undercity. The barred gateways will be open to you, and then they will be shut behind you. I cannot risk anything down there breaking up into the inner city. Should you succeed in clearing a path, as you say, well then, assuming you come out alive, we can have a further conversation as to your secondary request.
My thanks.
He lifts up the haft of his hammer and just slams it down on the stone, and it reverberates an echo around the throne room. You'll be permitted back into the inner city at dawn. Break in or show you out. Breaking and Tasnir leave with you, leading you back away. Are there any Break-in turns to you? Well, I'll be honest. That went remarkably well. Bold of you to phrase the favour like that. Think it worked?
And out.
I hope you know what you're getting yourselves into.
We do not.
No idea. Might we have a map of the areas we are allowed to explore?
Tasnir speaks up at this point. I would love to. We currently don't possess any complete maps. It seems that, as per dwarven nature, sabotage was enacted to not make it easy for marauding invaders to gain access to our forges. And so records were destroyed, burnt, and other means damaged. What we do know, based on the initial excursion, is that once you are through the main entranceway, which is currently sealed tight with rock and iron, you will have a short passageway before coming to a crossroads of sorts. Beyond that, I'm sorry you are on your own. If I had an assumption, which I think is fairly educated, the Finnedale Forge will be the last and deepest element of the Undercity, and I think you will know if you come across it.
Okay.
And for the sake of myself and all dwarven kind, do not step across its threshold.
That's fair.
Is there anything else I can help you with? I do know plenty about the Finnedale Forges and somewhat more about the Undercity if you wish to have a discussion. And also my theories on how to resolve the problem, which I think are more useful to you.
I think it's a discussion for as we head in.
Well, come then. Let's head back to the hearth.
Can we do a detour on the way out?
Where are you requesting to go, Thrungi?
Home.
Would you
I'm
prefer
sure
to
that
go alone?
I didn't hear what you said.
Would you prefer to go alone?
Okay.
Breakin nods and motions for you to take the lead.
Thrungi slowly heads towards what used to be, at least, was the blacksmith alley, as it were. But before you reach there, diverts off towards the housing. It kind of backs on to some of the shops, which was where his family were. And on the 32nd house down, he just stops.
The house appears to be empty. There are some houses on this street that have families and individuals living in them, but this one still appears to be empty.
Is there a door?
Yeah.
He walks over and knocks
There's no reply.
before stepping inside.
The door is unlocked. Inside is a rather sparse space. There seems to be some leftover furniture that you do recognise. The larger objects, but smaller things like portraits and tools and that lot are not there.
He walks through and slowly goes down the stairs to where the bedrooms were.
There's 3 bedrooms. All 3 of them still appear to have beds in them. None of them are made up. They're just plain kind of frames and straw mattresses.
Anything else?
Roll me... No, don't bother rolling. You remember that you and your wife had a secret panel just behind the headboard. A loose brick where things would be stored.
Goes across and pulls it open.
Within it, you find a brass chain holding a silver locket inscribed within are some dwarven words. You know what they say.
He picks it up and hangs it around his neck. Is that all that's in there?
Yeah.
He then walks over to his daughter's bedroom and pulls the bed aside. But under there, puts his foot gently down on one of the flagstones and reveals a hidden hole that he knew his daughter liked to store things in.
What does he find in there?
Nothing much. Just one of his daughter's old soft toys. She picks up and takes a bit. And then he leaves.
You see Thrungi walk back out of the house. The new necklace just about visible around his neck. What's hanging on it is hidden underneath his beard. Clutching something in his hands that is dwarfed by quite how large he is.
And probably for the first time you see tears in his eyes.
Oh, that's very sweet. Are there any pictures in the locket? I guess it's up to Thrungi. You don't have to tell us.
While Thrungi hasn't shown you the locket, there are
Oh no, I'm asking out of character, sorry.
there are only words inside.
Ah,
On each side of the locket are the oaths that him and his wife told each other when they married.
you weren't this romantic on your wedding day, Bryn.
Really? I got really quiet so that I could talk.
Oh. Oh, this is so beautiful. It's so tragic. Nice.
You're led back out of the inner city and taken towards the hearth to have a conversation. Tasnir sits you down. There's a lingering pause in the air, having the conversation that what just happened. Eventually, Tasnir turns to all of you. I believe in preparation, as I hope most of you do as well. I know, probably more than most, what lies in the Undercity at this point. And I think it best to give you as much information as possible. Let me explain to you how important a Finnedale Forge is. They were said to be granted by the dwarven ancestor gods at the point of the dwarvish race was created. Each one represents a nexus point to the elemental planes, where the power of those planes can create wondrous items of myriad size. Each forge is said to hold the spark of divinity in such a way that it shapes itself to the purpose of the smith entering it. Each one is guarded by a beautiful and terrible construct who will defend it against non-dwarves with extreme prejudice. At least the texts say so. Whether one such thing still exists now after the city was lost, I do not know. Such was the importance of these forges. They were set behind many defences, be they dwarf with weapon in hand, or designs of mechanical construction, or traps of insidious and lethal design. Something to bear in mind as you're entering into the Undercity, I think. Since none of you are entering into the Finnedale Forge, I don't think it will be necessary for you to know this, but only respected runesmiths are permitted within them. We have some here who arrived here hoping to use it when we retook the city, but as of yet remain frustrated. The Undercity itself is cavernous. It is not damp tunnels of the drow or uncultured other citizens of the Underthing. These are great dwarven halls that lead to the greatest possession of dwarven kind. You will have space, but so will whatever thing else is down there. The old tombs of the city belong down there as well. Again, no one knows what happened to them, but I'm sure extended families wish to know that their honoured dead remain honoured. And if there is anything that can be reclaimed for the betterment of this city, be it artifacts or histories or even just knowledge of what happened, please return it to the surface. Break is like, yes, I would appreciate further knowledge to add to the stories of the Hold. I'm sure you will have your own story to tell when you come back, but lost stories are arguably more important. Now, I think I've given you everything you need to know about heading in and the knowledge you acquire. Now for my theory. Let's say it is a theory and nothing else, but the fact that each Finnedale Forge stands on an elemental nexus, and the nature of the denizens that we fought and lost to with this city, I believe something happened to the reactor of the forge which harnesses the elemental power. Whether it is sabotage, a freak nature of the planes, or some other agent, I don't deign to guess. But the evidence stacks up that whatever happened allowed elementals to enter into the Undercity. To that end, I think the safest way to carve a path, as you have offered to do, would be to recontain the Nexus, and thus greatly weaken the hold those elementals have onto this plane. To do so will be no easy feat. It will require a binding ritual and binding runes to be entered around the Nexus. I do have some of these pre-forged, as it were. I could inform you of the ritual if one of you feels comfortable trying to complete it. If one of you is either an accomplished arcanist or gifted in the ways of the gods, at least. The forge is both magical and divine in nature. I'm sure either method would be appropriate. However, the ritual itself is experimental, and I am aware you may not feel comfortable in enacting it yourselves. So, should you wish, I can provide a aid to go with you to complete the ritual. They are not a travelled adventurer like yourselves, but they may prove useful nonetheless. I will leave that up to you, but the offer is there. Just let me know before I depart this evening so I can put things in place. I strongly recommend you take the evening to prepare everything you need for entering into an element of the city that is not only trying to kill you, but filled with beings that want to kill you as well.
What do we think? Do we want a guide? An aid?
I like the sound of an aid. Makes us sound like politicians.
It might be a good idea because they might have knowledge that could help us once we're in there. Or we might need more of us protecting the person performing the ritual. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we
Maybe
could
another dwarf.
leave them to it.
What
Okay.
guide are you proposing?
I propose one of my fellow priests, by the name of Hordmir Carson, would come with you. He spent some time with the runesmiths prior to his dedication to the Dwarven Templehood, so provides skill on both sides of the equation, as it were. He's a little uncut, shall we say, yet to be polished. But he has a bright future ahead of him.
If he lives, if he comes with us.
Indeed, he is somewhat brave, somewhat foolhardy.
If he is prepared for the risk at hand, I think we all agree that we'll be glad to have him.
I would dearly like him returned to my service, if that is possible. But dangers are dangers, and he knows the risks.
Better stock up on your diamonds.
Well,
I've got.
I will put things in place. He will be ready for you at dawn. I will be waiting for you at the gates of the inner city in the morning, and will let you begin your endeavour then. Until then, sleep well, and I'll see you tomorrow. She gets up and begins walking off into the night at this point. It's pretty dark outside. Braken turns to you. Tonight would be a night to share any of those stories you wish to tell before the end. We see it as good luck. Better to share the story now than wish you'd shared it later. But I understand if you are tired and wish to get a full night's sleep before tomorrow. I will be here if you wish to talk. and he just kind of goes back up and starts tending the fire.
Is there any little teenage slam poetry kid who I could get to do a little errand for me?
Yeah.
And Rambear's going to enlist the help of somebody else to write out the ingredients that we need, some rare oils and unguents. Worth at least 1,000 gold pieces.
The kid looks at this list, turns back to you and goes, I can try. I don't know how much of that stuff's going to be here, but I'll see what I can find. Where do you want it returned to? And do you have the gold? Because I don't.
Yeah, I have the gold. Yeah, just give it back me if you can't get everything. And I will hand over 1,000 gold. If it'll let me just do this in one fell swoop. Move. Okay, I'll have to work this out properly. I've got like an annoying amount of different currencies here.
You can sort that out later.
Yeah.
Is there anything else anyone would like to do before taking bed for the long rest?
No.
If there are stories you wish to share, you don't have to actually say them out loud. You can just have shared them regardless. Okay, you all head back to the Stone Apple. A decent amount of laughter and drinking is going on. No one seems to understand the thing that you're undertaking. You grab some food, head to bed, and as you lay down, aware that the adventuring life doesn't stop sometimes, as you keep walking into fire and death repeatedly. We will see what the next day brings next time, and we'll end it there. First things first, you've all leveled up to level 13.
Not Faendal, right?
Faendal count as
just
well
leveled
if you're
up.
listening, Chris.
We just leveled up.
You guys already finished the dwarf stuff.
No.
But roll hit dice now at least. Let's get
Yeah,
that done.
Have you finished recording?
Nyah, do you want to roll first? D10.
Yeah.
Finished recording.
D10. D10.
Flesh out. Being
Ugh.
he picked solo stuff.
Miserable 2.
It's something. Thrungi.
I just rolled 12.
Jesus Christ.
I've also, because it's annoying, but what I've done is rather than overriding my HP, I've added that extra 20 from the gauntlets into my rolled HP, and if for whatever reason I take them off, I'll remove it.
There should be a way to handle that, but that's not important right now.
It is, but anytime I roll hit dice, it will either remove that or it won't go. It fudges it up.
Fair enough. Okay. Rambear. D8.
D8.
And now,
Oh, max points. 8.
Nice. Balthazar, what level are you taking? Monk or cleric?
Cleric.
Cleric. What's
That gets
that?
me-
Level 8 cleric?
Yeah.
Dope.
Extra 4th level spell and ability sword and screw improvement.
Nice.
or
Well,
eight.
what do you D8 for hit dice? What'd you get?
I rolled a 3.
Not great, but not bad.
Pushes me up above 100. I think.
Yeah.
I think we're all above 100 now, right?
Right,
For Faendal.
one last element for you, Balthazar. Oh no, I'll discuss this with you later. We'll have a discussion. But yes, all level up, all get new abilities. We'll find out what Balthazar did with his ASI next time. But until then, see you next time, I guess. It's going to be fun. Another dungeon. Anyway, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.